Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Karen Yankovich, and this is my weekly Women Supporting Women show here live on LinkedIn and in my Facebook group. So if you are watching us live or on the replay, you can leave comments, and Jennifer and I will respond to you. So I'm excited to have my friend and colleague and the amazing Jennifer Covington here with us today. Jennifer, tell everybody a little bit about you and who you are and what you do, all the
Yeah.
goodness of you.
Thanks, Karen. So I'm Jennifer. I'm a life coach and business strategist, and I help, creatives and coaches create soul-centered businesses, basically. So what that is really creating a profitable business, usually hitting those 10K months and going on from there from a soul-centered place. So it's from a mission-led business or a purpose-driven business, and then also in a way that doesn't deplete you. It actually fills you up and is really restorative. And so that's really what I teach. That's, something that comes into practice like a day like today, when it's like, how do I work? When your business feeds you, mind, body, soul, then that's why it's worth building a soul-centered business. So I'm excited to talk about that today.
Yeah, so I agree. I agree. And this is probably not a topic we would have talked a lot about 10 years ago, right?
No.
Just 10 years ago, talking about a soul-centered business. Even when we met like in 2012, 2013, something like that. Like even then, what I was doing, I had a lot of soul-centered passion, but I really
Yeah.
wasn't infusing it into my business anywhere near as much as I do now. And I surely wasn't infusing it into my branding or my marketing, which I totally do now. So
Yeah.
tell me how, tell everybody a little bit about how, because
Yeah.
I love that, because I think that what it does is it kind of gives people permission, right, to do that. Simone is here. Hey, Simone.
Well, Simone.
It kind of gives everybody permission a little bit to share that they have like a heart-centered or soul-centered business, right? So
Yes.
how did tell us a little bit about your journey that took you, or have you always been focused on that?
No, it's such a good point when you bring up when we met, because you're so right. And that was before I was committed to this. And I don't know that I've talked about this as much. So since this is like a behind the scenes, of the podcast
Mhm.
in a way. So yeah, here's scoop, spilling the beans. It was really after, so my starting off as a life coach, and then I got pulled into business coaching because my life coaching colleagues would be asking how do I keep my practice full? How do I always attract clients? And so when I would dissect my process, for one, I found that I had a process. I knew that you had to create a curriculum or a framework. I also, in corporate America, I come from corporate America. I was always in marketing and sales, and a lot of that is applied psychology. There's so much about just knowing what makes people tick. And so I had that background in those realms. And so after people were coming to me for business stuff, I started teaching that, and then also taking business trainings, right? Learning how to leverage what I already knew, and then certified and learning more about business coaching. So that's why I do life coaching and business. And so as I started going into the business world and learning about how to do business online and that kind of thing, a lot of mentors I had would say, oh, just say this and get them in the door, and then you can do your thing, or like just get them to pay you, and then once that kind of just like smoke and or bait and switch. And I definitely didn't thrive in those programs, but also people with a really strong moral compass were losing their homes, going broke. It was like their last stitch effort to try to get their businesses to work, and they would fail because they didn't do that. The lying or the smoke and mirrors. And so I didn't think, I didn't lose my home being in those programs because I had a background and I knew a thing or two about a thing or two. And that wake up call to me
I like
because it was,
that.
and
I knew a thing or two about a thing or two. That's a
just,
tweetable.
but I really got confronted with the fact that if you know how to do this thing and you know a better way, or you know how to do this, and there are people that have a moral compass that won't allow them to do this, smoke and mirrors kind of marketing, then you should be teaching that, and you should be calling to those people who are these people, right? So
Mhm.
that's where that came after I was doing life coaching, and really even after doing business coaching. It was as I was furthering my education that I was finding, though, now that they talk about bro marketing and all of that, it was that kind of stuff that called me up to really claim the soul centered business and really dissect what that is, who that's for, and that's how that came to be.
So have you found that, tell us that, so when you talk about that, I personally feel that that just helps you attract the exact right people, right?
Yeah.
Because there's definitely people that, like in my case, my program is really niched down more for really teaching LinkedIn to women. And, we have
Yeah.
men in the program, but I had a guy not that long ago say to me, you're turning men off when you say that. I'm like,
Oh, no, you didn't. Or no, he didn't.
so, right? Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I feel like I'm giving, I'm giving women a leg up, which is what I want to do. So did you
Yeah.
find that to be when you started to do that? Because a lot of people, when I write, like we write LinkedIn profiles and we really harp on really niche and get niche.
Hmm.
They're a little bit afraid because they're afraid they're going to lose business. So when you started
Yeah.
to really niche on soul centered businesses, how did that affect your
Hmm.
business?
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's the what I learned then later was it was truly having a more feminine approach. So whether you are identify as a man or as a woman or
Mhm.
other, no matter what, it is leading. It's incorporating feminine components to how you do. So there's some flow to it, and there's intuition, and there's not you're not always pushing, and you are being honest and transparent. Authentic before those were buzzwords. And so
Yeah,
that just call in. And I work with coaches, healers, and creatives. And so it also really just allowed us to see each other. It's like, oh, you're for me and I'm for you.
right.
So because I actually do lead with the structure and the practical and the more masculine. So that did help say, hey, I'm actually here for you to help you with those more structured masculine pieces as, the woo or the magic makers. And here's how we can together. So absolutely, it excludes who's it not for, and then it calls in exactly who I want to work with.
Which isn't that awesome? That you're just working with
It's
more and more
awesome.
people that you want to work with instead of taking like
Yes,
just random people that happen to come to you because you haven't had that clear path.
totally. And even now, what it's evolving into even more, especially in this past year, the past couple of years, is that it's really movement makers. People who want to monetize their movement. Their business is really about a bigger mission, and they want to create massive change. And so now that soul centered piece really calls to those mission led, movement makers who want to be able to sustain themselves with their, purpose. So that's been really exciting and rewarding for me to get to be, the wind beneath their wings to help them get that going. So
Right, right. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So how do you help these businesses get going and
yeah.
what did you call them? Mission led
Mission led, purpose driven,
change
soul
makers,
centered.
movement makers, mission led
Yes.
movement makers. Yeah,
I'm the
so cool.
queen waymaker for world changers. That's what my clients call me.
Ah, say that again. The
The
queen.
queen waymaker for world changers.
Ah,
So
I love
so
that.
people, yeah,
You have a
people come
business
to me
card that
like,
says that, Jen?
oh, I just haven't done business cards, but I think I'm going to go back, but I could. Just because I know from you, it's like I just work LinkedIn and then go from there.
Yeah, I
But
want to put it on your LinkedIn profile, the queen.
queen. But yeah, no, and again, and that goes back to that's how I'm fed by my own business because I know when I wake up and go to work, I'm doing my piece to create the positive ripple effect of change of helping these movement creators and movement makers do what they do. And so I really call in again, usually the woo, the magic makers. People come to me with like, I've got this huge idea. I have no idea how I can do this, and let alone how can I make money doing it. And it's just part of who I am that I'm like, I see it, I see the steps, I got it. I have a visionary side, but I'm also very like boom, 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 Capricorn, just step by step by step. I can see exactly how to create it. And so that's part of having your successful business is getting really clear on what your superpowers are and what you bring to the table and not being shy about it. And so, says the queen. And so, so knowing that I have a woo side, but also a very practical side, really helps me build a bridge to my huge visionaries, who just can't anchor it down. So what I do is we start with your vision. It's the first part of the framework that I take people through. And then we get practical and dial in, your money making message and, get your brand story clear and, figure out who your ideal client is. And when people figure I get to choose, who I
Mhm.
best work with, then it's like, yeah, isn't that fun? Because you're excited to work with them and they benefit so much from working with you because they're excited about
Mhm.
you. And then creating a framework or a curriculum or a system for how you do what you do, that's usually when people start popping and making money because they're basically bottling up their brilliance and putting it on the shelf and saying like, here it is.
Right.
um, that's also the point where, well, then we talk about how the different ways you want to package it. So some people want to do one-on-one, some people want to do group, but again, to choose, where do you shine the brightest, and that's what we create. So when you take your brilliance, bottle that up, and then you to deliver it however you best, that's really where you're like, in your mojo. And so
Mhm.
that's how it can work for not everybody, but it works for all of my people, right?
Right.
Um, and then we come up with an authentic marketing plan because we know it's all about consistency and the authenticity. So this is another thing that sparks people with me, is because it's not about smoke and mirrors and saying this thing but really meaning that. We figure out a marketing system. There's so many channels. There's one or two or three that will work with your strengths and that you love to show up on, that you can be consistent, and then when people experience you, they'll be attracted to you naturally. And so going from there and creating an authentic launch plan for these peeps, and that's what I walk them through, and then it's just rinse and repeat or deepening, and it works like a charm every time.
I love that. And I guess that's why, I mean, we don't talk nearly enough, but
I know.
there was a day that we did talk more often. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why we connect so well, because I agree. There's a really, when you can connect your right brain and left brain in this process, that's where the magic happens, right? Because it's not all
Yeah,
to-dos and it's not
yeah,
all affirmations, right?
yeah,
Like, but
yeah,
when they work together, when like I fought it for a long time, and now I joke
yeah.
that I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that has a LinkedIn program that talks about your power chakra, like right, like most people
100%.
have all these like right brain, LinkedIn funnel strategies and stuff, and even like a coaching program that I'm in right now, it's a really like very strategic left brain
Yeah,
program. But when I have a challenge, they say, Karen, it is never the funnel. It is never your webinar. It is always your mindset. And they are right every
it
time.
is.
Like, we can work
Yeah,
on your funnel, we can work on your webinar, but just so you know, it's your mindset, not the webinar. Right. And I'm like,
totally.
really? And they're right every
Or
time.
energy, right? It's
Right.
energy. So
Right.
you can have the consistent, and you can have the webinar down, but if your energy wasn't connecting, then that
Exactly.
affects
Yep.
things, because even if people buy, maybe you weren't on the, attracting who you
Right.
wanted. So all of that. And I think we're similar that way, that we both have the strategic, and then we have the, ooey gooey heartfelt, but we also have just leading from our hearts and our heads, both of those
Mhm.
things. And what I love about that is, I think, especially in corporate, what's hard about it, and I think it's corporate's changing. What do I know? It's been decades, but
Mhm.
but there used to be part where we had to leave parts of us out the door. I think that's where
Yes.
a lot of us struggled. And
Yep.
so what I love about, being able to create your own business, and why I'm into it, is because you
Mhm.
get to incorporate all the pieces of you. And that work that I do with my clients is, let's bring all of those strengths and let's mix it up and then package it so that people get what you're bringing to the table. And then there isn't really a job description for you, like you decide. And so
Right.
that's what I love, so it's so cool that's why I love, business owner, my biz besties, because it's so
Right.
cool to see how we create and adapt and evolve and get to just bring our different points of genius up to the surface.
Right. Sorry, I'm just looking to see. So you guys that are on
Yeah.
Facebook, if you don't have, oh, it's true. So Teresa's still there. So Teresa, it's so good to see you here. Teresa is saying energy is
Hey.
priceless. That's when your heart talks to others. And Teresa, I remember you telling me, because Teresa and I
Mm.
worked together. I
Hmm.
remember you telling me she had a pretty big LinkedIn win a while back. And I remember you telling me
Awesome.
that it was the mindset that made the difference for you. It was when
Mm.
you shifted your mindset to being worthy, and then the strategy, that it was the mindset and the positioning and the right brain stuff more than the left brain stuff that helped you get that win that I'm thinking of. Anyway, I don't know if you remember that, but that's, and by the way, it just says Facebook user if you're not logged in. That's really what I was going. She's saying exactly. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly right. So it's, you can And it's, it's coming to the end of 2020. Thank the heck freaking heavens, right? But it's coming to the end of 2020. And
Yeah.
to me, like, I feel like we all always have big plans for the upcoming year, right? At least I do. And I know a lot of other people do. But if
Yes.
you keep doing what you've always done, how is it ever going to be every day? If you keep thinking about yourself, if you have the same identity going into
Hmm.
2021 as you did going into 2020, then th- nothing's going to change, right? So no matter how much strategy you have, no matter how hard you work, and isn't it cool, Jennifer? Because when you were talking about how corporate you had to leave some of it out there, isn't it cool that that's changing? Like, I don't know if it's
Yes.
changing in corporate because it's as with you, it's been decades, but isn't it
Yeah,
cool that
it
we can
is.
have this conversation, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
people are right there with us, you know,
Yes, totally.
that we
Yeah.
can talk about the importance of the right brain and the creativity and the heart,
Yeah.
where your passions are, as well as
Yes. And
where
how
what
that's
you're good at, right? And then
beneficial. It's not
blend them
just
together.
extra. Yeah, it's not just extra. Like we need that, right?
Yeah.
And even you mentioned that is talking to, my clients about is now is really the time, corporate and just society will call the kind of magic. And again, this is what has led me working mostly with females, but again, it's the intuitive and the feminine. But
Mhm.
we when I talk about highlighting your strengths, a lot of things where we are really strong in, they call soft skills, right? Or it's something that just gets left out the door completely because it
Right.
can't be met. For example, like your intuition
Right.
and your gut
Right.
feeling and your energy, right? But please know if you have not empowered before, if you're strong in those skills of intuition and energy and those kinds of things, we need you to lead right now because like you were saying, Karen, whatever your plan was January 2020, that is scrapped and out the door. Don't try to remix it for or like retool it for January 2021 because we're in a different world and
Yeah.
it's unwritten. It's totally unwritten. So it's really for us leaders who have practice in tapping into our intuition, journaling, and then creating a strategy around that, and then checking in with our, and then going from there and connecting human to human. That's going to be the thing that's going to make you profitable. It's going to make you purpose driven. It's going to make you, just on point and fulfilled, even though the world's going to feel crazy. But if you can know every day you're contributing to the world in the way you want to, that's going to keep you every day moving forward. So please
Oh
say, if
my
you don't take
gosh.
anything else from this, I hope this will take that.
So true. So true, Jennifer. That's so true. I actually don't even want to I feel like I want to just end on that because that's so impactful. So tell everybody how to get to know more about you. How can people find Jennifer and learn more about what you do? And by the way, if you
Yeah.
wanted,
So,
I mean, this is episode 35. We're on episode 143, I think, this week.
woo, go
So we got
Karen.
to get back at some point. But Teresa's saying I teach collaboration this way, and I love that. And that's awesome. So how can people find more about you, Jennifer?
Yes, you can jennifercovington.com. That is my home hub. And if you go to jennifercovington.com/freebie, then there's some trainings there that you can dive deeper to see how to marry your heart and your head and create your soul centered business. So that would be a good place to start for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here and thanks so much for sharing your genius. I know, we both got live and went did we neither one of us realized that it was like election day and it's the middle of the day and the energies in the US is just kind of wacky, but here we
It
are,
is.
right? We're
Hopefully we were a good,
persevering.
yeah, hopefully we were a good distraction for you all.
Yeah, exactly. It was certainly a good distraction for me. So thank you so much for being here today, Jennifer. I appreciate
It's a
it. And I hope that
pleasure.
you have to check out Jennifer's stuff. I'm telling you, it's good. It's really
Thank
good.
you. Thank
So
you.
check it
Thank
out.
you. Bye.